We're proud of our freedom in Texas. Here, parents, not the government, are free to decide what's best for their own kids, including the choice to homeschool. Texas is arguably the best place in the nation to homeschool, but has it always been this way? Let's get the facts. Throughout history, homeschooling was the norm. As recently as 1915, 90% of all school-age kids were homeschooled or in private school. But by 1981, the Texas Education Agency banned homeschooling. Parents were facing fines and even jail time for homeschooling their kids. This became so extreme that by 1985, 150 Texas families had been prosecuted just for teaching their kids. So in 1985, homeschoolers responded by suing every school district in Texas in what became known as the Leaper case. For 9 years, homeschoolers fought the state in court until in 1994, when the Texas Supreme Court ruled in favor of homeschooling. That same year, the U.S. Congress considered a bill which would have effectively outlawed homeschooling nationwide. THSC led the Texas response by shutting down the Capitol switchboards and ultimately killing the bill. But even after these huge wins for homeschool families, homeschoolers continued to be harassed. By law, school districts were only responsible to ensure kids were being educated. Instead, they abused their authority and imposed regulations on homeschoolers. Local officials demanded interviews, approved and denied curriculum, and wielded power over parents brave enough to buck the system. In 1995, THSC President Tim Lambert intervened on behalf of homeschoolers with the Texas Education Agency. The agency requested a solution from THSC, who drafted a plan that would offer Texas homeschool families unrivaled freedom in the nation. This policy was instated and is still in place today. After nearly 2 decades of persecution, Texas families finally got relief. Liberty was won. Since then, THSC has vigilantly fought to protect and expand freedom for Texas families. But do these liberties actually impact your family? You might be surprised. THSC helped pass parent-taught driver's ed in 1995 so that Texas parents could teach their own kids how to drive. In 2001, THSC expanded freedom by passing a law to allow homeschoolers to take dual credit classes. In 2003, THSC helped the legislature stop state colleges from discriminating against homeschool graduates. That same year, THSC compelled CPS to stop using homeschooling against families in their investigations. In 2006, THSC became fed up with the outrageous actions of Child Protective Services and trained over 100 lawyers free of charge in how to defend families from CPS in court. This training continues even today. In 2009, THSC led the fight to veto a bill that dangerously expanded CPS's power to attack families and remove children without cause. Governor Perry responded and killed the bill. THSC recognized the need for more boots on the ground during the legislative session and launched the THSC Watchman program, teams of homeschool graduates who serve to protect and advance freedoms for Texas families. In 2011, THSC raised $250,000 to defend a father's right to keep and homeschool his daughter. That dad and all Texas families won in a landslide jury verdict. In 2013, THSC was the deciding factor in killing a bill which would have allowed doctors to sentence sick children to death over the objections of their parents. In 2015, THSC helped pass a bill, again standing up for homeschoolers facing discrimination in the state college admission process. THSC also passed a requirement for Child Protective Services to allow foster parents to homeschool. In 2015, THSC sounded the alarm, calling on Governor Abbott to veto a bill allowing hospitals to detain minors without a warrant, even against the parents' wishes. The governor got the message and vetoed the bill. On top of these monumental victories, battles for freedom are also being won one family at a time. THSC successfully intervenes with CPS, school districts, colleges, government agencies, and others on behalf of member families every year. The incredible opportunities and freedoms homeschool families enjoy today were bought by the vigilance of those who have gone before. So now it's our turn. Our hard-earned freedom will either be protected or lost. As was wisely stated in 1866, no man's life, liberty, or property are safe while the legislature is in session. After decades of success, Texas homeschool families have stood with THSC defending and expanding our freedom. Will you join with THSC today and help keep Texas families free?